Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero with the Ways of Israel. Our previous video had a very good reception. Many people have seen it, which is why I'm doing the second part of the question that anti-Zionism is in fact anti-Semitism, it's anti-Judaism, it's anti-Torah, and it's really anti the history of the Jewish people. So let's ask the question, what is Zionism? From biblical times to the present, Jews and Judaism have had an unbroken connection to Zion, as you saw in the previous video. A reference to Eretz Israel, the land of Israel, derived from the hill in the heart of Jerusalem. Zionism was and remains the Jewish quest to have and sustain a Jewish state in the Jewish ancient land. Zionism is in fact Jewish nationalism. It's being proud of being part of the nation of Israel. A relatively small number of Jews who decide to control their own future by seeking and making and keeping the state who wrote the story of modern Israel, linking the people to the land and building an infrastructure for a state are the story of modern Zionism. But keep in mind, modern Zionism would have no existence without the ancient Zionism, which I had cited previously. And this is obviously the story of the establishment of the State of Israel, one which many anti-Zionists are still, till this day, against, including the religious ultra Netir Karta and Samar groups. They would love to see the destruction of the State of Israel, and they work from within to do so, which makes them automatically an enemy from within. And that's why you see them carrying the Palestinian flag and carrying about with big camaraderie with the very enemies of Israel. Modern Zionism did not begin with Herzl's life and his writings, though he did give it its form and organization and plan of action. For the origin of Zionism before the late 19th century, we must suggest 1906 as the entry of the quote-unquote New Zionism in the Jewish Encyclopedia, keeping in mind that the ideas of Jerusalem and Zion were part of the very foundation of the Jewish people, going back to the Torah that initiate the Jewish identity from Judaism's birth. Keep in mind, from here we have the Jewish law that states who is a Jew. It is a person born of a mother of Jewish descendant, or, if you take the conservative and reform look, a father. So both parents becomes very, very important to be able to identify who is a Jew. Now, obviously, as an Orthodox, we believe that only through the mother can you be able to transcend and confirm the Jewish identity of the person, even though the father may be Jewish. Herzl, as a catalyst of modern political Zionism, had little connection to Judaism. He's really a secular Jew. That's what he was, but there's still something innate that came out which has to do with the Zionism. By 1890, the works increasingly exposed him to anti-Semitic rhetorics that he saw firsthand in covering the Dreyfus trial of 1894, where a French Jewish officer was erroneously accused and found guilty of selling secrets to others. The widespread anti-Semitism he witnessed convinced him that the assimilation would not protect the Jews, leading him to advocate for a Jewish state as the only solution to the Jewish question. In 1896, Herzl published Der Judenstaat, the Jewish state, outlining the vision of a sovereign Jewish nation to escape persecution and achieve security. This is when Zionism began to enter into the political realm. The work galvanized by Jewish communities worldwide, communities that already had been churning about whether they should remain Orthodox in their belief, which included waiting for the Messiah to better their lives and the return to Zion. In essence, Herzl motivated others to take the destiny into their own hands and not wait for a prophetic intervening of the Messiah when he comes. So this is what really upset a lot of the ultra-religious groups, because He did not wait for things to happen, expecting Mashiach to come, in which he said, we can't wait until Mashiach comes. We must do it ourselves. And there's a lot of basis for this, even in the Torah. From Herzl's writing to the choreography of bringing like-minded Jews together, it must be noted that the numbers of Jews who began to embrace Zionism or reconnecting physically with the ancient homeland were a tiny fraction among Jews worldwide. And Zionism was a minority movement among Jews at that time that saw millions rather than several thousands moving to Canada, the U.S., South Africa, Australia, South America, and elsewhere. From Herzl's leadership, Jewish organizations were born that supported the slow growth of the Jewish presence in Eretz Israel, variously also titled the Holy Land. Zionism's goal of having a territorial scaffolding for Jewish life was common and was viewed and held by adherents, but there are multiple ideological avenues that Jews felt should be taken to reach the objective. Philosophically, diversity ranged from the political action to waiting to embrace the permission to immigrate, from Zionism only being a Jewish cultural center to one that would dominate by socialism, capitalism, secularism, and even modern orthodoxy, which is what I embrace. For the excellent recapitulation of Zionism in the years before the state establishment, we recommend the book The Zionist Movement, which includes the history when it was called Palestine by the British Mandate, and in that year in Israel in the yearbook of 1950 to 51. To understand how Zionists connected Jewish immigration to the land purchased in Palestine, we present a Forming a Nucleus for Jewish State, also in Hebrew and also in Spanish. It's available. A video of connecting this is also available under the title of a 33-minute presentation called The Jewish Peoplehood, Zionism and the State and Building. Now, in my next video, we're going to take a look at how it began to develop for supporting the building a Jewish state. And then there's a state of Jews. And this we'll see in our next video regarding Zionism, a modern reality from biblical origins. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero with The Ways of Israel.